Good morning, sixth graders. Congratulations on completing your first MLQ. If you are watching this, it means that you have fantastic writing. You are a very strong writer, but we had a little bit of trouble understanding the prompt. So if you read the prompt and felt like this, or this, maybe a little bit like this kid, that's why you are at the station, and we're going to make sure that you understand what you needed to write. The MLQ prompt was, imagine that you, like Dylan and Sarah, are separated from a friend at a place neither of you has been before. Write an original story to describe your emotions and what happens as you try to find your friend. So already we know that you are writing an original story. So go ahead and underline that or highlight it. You are making up a story. You should then know that you should not have started your story with, well, if I were Dylan and Sarah, what would happen to me is, no, you have to start a story about you getting lost. You can make it up if you want. That's what you're supposed to do. So next, when it came to choosing the characters of your story and the setting or the where and when, the prompt tells you what to do for that. So it says to imagine that you're like Dylan and Sarah and you're with a friend at a new place. Dylan and Sarah should not be characters in your story. But who is going to be a character? Okay, definitely you. So go ahead and write that in. Me. So you're going to be a character in your story. This is about you getting lost. And are there any other characters? Let me see. Oh, okay, the prompt tells us that you are separated from a friend. So I read this and I know, all right, my story has to be about me and about a friend. Now you go ahead and instead of friend, write down the friend that you're getting lost with in your story. You can make up a character if you want. I love that a lot of you guys, when reading these through, chose a friend in your class or something and imagined you two getting lost. Lastly, the setting. So where is my story going to take place? It tells me that too. It says it's going to be at a place neither of you have been before. So wherever it is that your story is going to have you and this friend getting lost, go ahead and write it in right here. So this has to be a place you've never, actually, I'm going to type this in. Just you write down a place. It can be maybe a mall you've never been to before, something new. So already you can look at this and say, all right, these are the only characters in my story, and this is where my story takes place. What else do I know my story needs just by looking at a prompt? All right, it says that my story needs to describe, oh, okay, this is an important word. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that or highlight it. Describe, so this is telling me what I need to describe, your emotions, underline that, and what happens as you try to find them. So while it's going to be me and my friend in this new place, what my story actually has to be about is my emotions and what's happening as I try and find them. So go ahead and jot that down. Actually, put this in first. What does your original story need to describe? What's happening as I try to find my friend. And it also needs to describe my emotions while that's happening. Actually, you have to put this part down. Okay, so you can use this as a guide for what should be in your story, and then this as a guide for what you're doing. So make sure that as you go to write this, you keep these things in mind, because during writing block especially, we've learned about things that make narrative writing strong. Having a clear beginning, middle, and end. Separating big events with different paragraphs. Make sure there's some dialogue in your story. If you're panicking and trying to find your friend, then maybe when you find each other at the end, you're definitely going to be talking to each other, but always put it in quotation marks. And give your inner dialogue to describe your emotions. This is a huge opportunity to use inner dialogue. We have been studying inner dialogue so much in Hatchet. We got so much of Dylan's inner dialogue in that story. And so this was your opportunity to use it as you write a story. As you write an original story, as you describe your emotions, because I'm lost, I want a lot of inner dialogue about what it's like in that moment. So lastly, a few of us I want to get these few things cleared up. Some bad ways to start would be if you, hold on. If I were Dylan and Sarah, what would happen is, or a friend that I choose for this story is, again, these are all bad ways. If I were lost with a friend, it would probably be scary one time when I was with Dylan and Sarah, these are all ways you should not start. Okay. This doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow the prompt. Here is what an original story would sound like. My friend and I were very excited to go to this new mall we'd never been to before. And that's you starting a story about you and your friend. Or me and my cousin Joseph stepped into the amusement park, which was full of new and unfamiliar rides and exciting new adventures. So that is you getting started on your story. Again, make sure it has a clear beginning, middle, and end. It would be a good idea to scroll to right here, sort of pause this and keep this up to make sure you're doing all these different things. And then use the guidance that we gave you through these two little brainstorm pieces right here. Good luck and have fun bringing up that grade.